So my girlfriend brought up an idea to do some videos on the first and last time I ever drank. I'm now, my memory may not serve me 100% here, but the first time I drank, I'm pretty sure it was with my sister and her boyfriend at the time. I think it was Captain Morgan, and I apologize for the AC. It's hot, so that might be a bit annoying, and I apologize. It's Captain Morgan, and I remember being like a little afraid to drink, you know. I just didn't know what it would be like to be messed up, right? But I remember getting a few shots in. I don't even remember how many mixed drinks, probably not many. And I remember playing Counter-Strike. It was like 1.5 or 1.6 back then on the computer, and like everything was fun, and being inebriated was like, wow, like I didn't have a care in the world, right? And that is what substantially led into me abusing the heck out of it. Like my social anxiety and all that just like got alleviated. There were still times when I'd be blasted or buzzed and I'd still be antisocial, you know, like that's just a personality trait. I gotta be in the mood. You know, I'm very introverted, but I can also be social in the right setting. I don't know, but I've been at the, you know, out and been very closed off, even with alcohol, so it's not like a cure-all for that. But I remember it just like numbing me out. Things were funny, not like smoking weed funny, but like it was goofy, right? And like it was fun. I remember being wobbly and all that, and then I started going to some like house parties in my teens and getting real messed up. Like I remember I couldn't walk. I'd be leaning against a tree to go to the bathroom, like out in the woods, and I'm just not able to walk and just being so messed up, like detached from reality during these times. And I still got that way as an adult, but man, the first couple times I was drinking to excess, man, I got messed up. I can slightly remember those nights, and that's what started it all. And then it was just like house parties and stuff like that until into my 20s when I went through a breakup. Then I started drinking alone a little bit. But that was the first time. It was Captain Morgan, and I loved it. I did not like feeling like crap the next day. The hangovers were very light when I was young, though, right? Those are the first few experiences with it, you know. Hanging out with girls, stuff like that was always a plus and fun too. Was in the teens, it is, you know, in your 20s, you know what I mean? So that's the first time, and I loved it. Like, it was a new substance. I never really drank or anything, you know, up until my young teens, mid-teens. And then I remember drinking screwdrivers. I can't even drink them anymore. We were on a screwdriver kick with my other buddy, jumping on trampolines, partying, just getting sloshed. My gosh, getting kicked out of my buddy's house as his dad would come down yelling and screaming, catching us. A lot of times. A lot of times. A lot of good times I don't regret, but this all snowballed into a problem later on. I was still functional, still worked, still did okay, but it's definitely a problem, there's just no doubt. But the last time, that was the first few experiences. The last time I drank, I was going to the bar once every few weeks after I was already like super inebriated, but I was sitting right here, and I don't know, I was on a kick with 8%ers, which messed you up. Mike's Harders, White Claw Surges, those things are nothing to mess with, man. You drink 7, 8, 9, 10 of them, you're gone. I was like I had very mild I tried to do like I was on like a 4 Loco kick a brief amount of times, not even more than 5 times over the course of a few years, but I'd try to get like 4 or 5 of them and drink them. Man, they were disgusting, and they would just mess you up. Those things are gut rot. I can't even think about that. It was either 8%ers or it may have been rum. I can't remember. It must have been rum, because I dumped the bottle out the following day. because I felt like crap. But I was in like this perpetual cycle. Every weekend or every other weekend, I would just drink, go to the bar. And it was like I was right here. The only thing alcohol has given me, which I hope would have happened if I was sober beforehand, I was talking to my current girlfriend before we started dating, and I was inebriated. We were talking a little bit when I wasn't drinking, but when I was drinking, the conversations got deeper, and it opened that doorway, and I'll always be thankful for that. But I'd hope to think that we would have still, you know, talked and hung out regardless, but that like opened that doorway. It really did. That's one thing I'm thankful for. And then I got sober like 2 weeks before I even started dating her, and there's a backstory with her dad with alcohol that really motivates me, and I know she won't put up with it, so it's sort of like a hand-in-hand good thing. I'm doing it for me all the way, but there's a lot of other people that I would disappoint, you know. But yeah, I was sitting here just, when I was younger, it was just like a, you know, a weekend thing here and there, because you needed someone to buy it. You're underage, whatever. It was much more sparse. But when you're older, you can just go and get it yourself. So I would get it every weekend or every other weekend. You know, I had my sober sprees the past 2-3 years, but if in between. But I don't even know. I remember when I quit, 2 weeks later I started seeing her, and that motivated me even more. I had enough finally. I had enough that last time I drank. And I had enough of just sitting here and drinking at the bar and then sitting here drinking into the morning. I was just tired of the same perpetual cycle. I was sitting right here. I'm pretty sure it was rum or 8%ers. It was one of the two. And it was depressing, you know, being alone. I was going through a breakup and all that, doing the same old thing, drinking, not really about it. I was just drinking. It just wasn't helping me. And you know, sitting right here, drinking, playing games, being obnoxious, being belligerent, not caring. You know, that song, Alcohol by Dax, I think that's what it's called. He hits the nail on the head with the hammer in that song. It's perfect. I want that to be like my year anthem. I hope, you know, some of these influential people are still sober. It's a bunch, you know, that talk about it. I don't know if they stuck with it or not. I hope so. But I love that song. But yeah, last time was right here. I think I was at the bar. And then I was drinking here into the morning. I don't remember really what I said to anybody. You know, probably was embarrassed, deleted everything. And I don't know what made it stick this time. It was just being so sick of it. You know, just being sick of it. It's just like, when is this going to end? I always knew the key was just to stop it. To just be done with it and rid of it. And see it for what it really is, a toxin. It's disgusting. And you spend your money on it, your hard-earned money. Every time I bought it, I'm like, there's another $20. There's another $15. There's $40 spent at the bar. I didn't really spend a super large amount at the bar. I was pretty frugal with that. But there were nights I'd still spent $40, $70, you know, once every so many months. But it adds up. And you just consume it, and it does no good for you. It numbs you out temporarily and makes things worse. But yeah, those are my experiences. It's like I started out in love with it, and I ended up miserable and hating it near the end. But that was over the course of, what, 20 years? And in my teens, I wasn't drinking that often. It was like once a month, once every 2-3 months, you know. Then into my 20s, started holding like house parties a lot, my young 20s. So it was like every week, every 2 weeks, all the time. And then it just became like a solo drinking thing into my mid to late 20s and then into my early 30s. solo with the bar, hanging out at, you know, parties when they came up, certain events. It just like devolved into what it was. And I remember the first few times I drank alone, it was like I knew something wasn't right about it. And you always hear people say it's not good to drink alone, but I was always conscious of it. But you build those attachments to drinking and music and games and social interactions, whatever it is. But yeah, there you go. Quick share of my first and last time I drank from as good as I can recall. I can't remember percentage of some of these nights. But yeah, take it easy.